Lying that you're sexy. Lying that you're sexy me when everybody knows. It's clear that you're obsessed with me. Whoa. Finally found a girl that you couldn't get back last month. You're delusional, you're delusional. Why you losing your mind? What's up, y'all? Hey, what's going on? Something now is taking over me. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, y'all. I'm not gonna run down. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday, happy Sunday. Hey, Rosie. Hey, guys. What's up? What's going on? Welcome to the live. Hope each and every one of y'all have enjoyed your weekend. I have had a very pleasant weekend, even though I enjoyed my mom's birthday. My mom's birthday was on Saturday. So, hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, good evening, wherever you are. Hello. Happy Sunday. Like I always say, we here for a good time, not a long time. So make sure y'all tap the screen, share the live. You never know what we gonna talk about when we get on this live. You never know what the topic is gonna be, so sometimes you gotta just hold tight, sit still, and let's get right to it. Cause I'm just now getting settled home, so I'm gonna be on here for just a little second, not a long time. Just a little second, not a long time, but we here. Happy Sunday, y'all. I hope y'all are enjoying your day so far. As for me, I'm just getting prepared for the week, but I will say this. Let me get into something really quick. So, I've been noticing that TikTok has been blocking my content. So, if you have not seen my content in a while, if you have not seen me in a while, TikTok has some reason somehow been blocking my content. So that's the reason why some of y'all have not been seeing any new videos. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, by March 2025. By the end of March 2025, you probably won't see my face on TikTok anymore. Because, the content creation and me putting in all of this work to actually put my messages out there, and they're not really giving me the traction that I deserve. I probably won't be on TikTok after March. So if you want to keep up with me, if you want to follow me on all my other platforms, please feel free to do so. But TikTok will not be getting any more content of mine. I won't be uploading anything on TikTok. So if you want to go to Instagram, my Facebook, my YouTube, I'm going to be uploading a lot of content on there. I'm going to be pushing a lot of more content on those three platforms. But TikTok, by the end of March, we will not be on here anymore. So you guys make sure that if you want to see me live, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Facebook, and follow me on Instagram. Okay? Yeah, I just can't. Let me tell y'all, I put a whole bunch of time and energy in my content. So when I'm putting all my time in my content and I'm uploading it on TikTok and they're not giving me the traction that I need, it's kind of making me feel like I'm like working for no reason. It's kind of like you going to a job and they're not paying you, right? So I'm just like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and go on over here and take my content elsewhere, because y'all not giving me what I deserve, right? So anyway, moving along, I just had to give y'all that little disclaimer. But moving along, y'all, I've been going through this phase, where I am learning that everybody in my life is not going to be me. And the way that I do things, I got to stop expecting me out of other people. I'm in my own little bubble, and I'm learning how to be okay with not accepting the bare minimum from people. Because let me tell y'all something. This one thing I learned, and this might be controversial, this might be, contradicting. But just because they don't do the things that I do, some people have the mind of doing it. They just don't want to do it for you. Okay? Some folks have all the capability of doing the right thing, but some folks just don't have it in their heart to do it for you. So what I'm learning how to do is being okay with allowing folks to be them, but while they be them, you're going to be you over there. You're not going to be you over here in my life, okay? You're not going to give me the bare minimum and then go over and beyond for everything and everybody else. No, that's not how this going to work. How this going to work is you're going to give me 100% and I give you 100%, or we don't give each other anything. Because I'm at a point now where I'm learning how to be okay with not being drained in order for me to be loved, or in order for me to be in people's life. Nah, I ain't going to be able to do it. They go for friendships. They go for family. They go for relationships. They go for all of it. Let me tell y'all something. Don't let nobody make you feel like you're not enough. And don't let nobody make you feel like they're not capable. Everybody is capable of doing something. I don't care what it is. It's just a matter of them doing it for you. So if they don't feel like you're good enough for them to give you what you deserve, then sometimes you got to be okay with the simple fact that everybody just not going to do it. And you got to cut those people off and walk away. That's just where I'm at with where I am in my life. Like, that's just real talk. Like, I don't mean to sound mean. I don't mean to sound, you know, I'm going to say this to y'all, to each and every person that's in this room. Okay? Don't let nobody give you an excuse as to why they can't be who they need to be for you. Okay? I get so tired of people always talking about, well, I was going through something. We all go through something. But that didn't stop me from loving you properly. That didn't stop me from being there for you, for you. Because some folks be killing me having those excuses all the time. And I be like, well, I didn't have that excuse when I did what I did for you. I didn't have that excuse when you needed me. I was there for you, and I was going through the most darkest times of my life, and I still came through for you. And one thing I had to learn was I had to stop putting myself in those disappointing phases or those disappointing areas, because I constantly allowed people to have excuses when it came down to them being at their lowest, but they still did not give me what I needed. So where I am in my life is I got to stop allowing myself to be at my lowest and still give people what they need. Because regardless, I have the capability of being there for people. I have the capability of loving people, but they just not giving me the same energy. So where I am in my life is I'm learning how to be okay with peeling back from people and giving them the bare minimum energy that they give me. It's real talk. I'm okay with being like, no, I ain't going to be able to do it. I'm okay with telling folks that I just don't have the capacity to do it this week, or that's just where I'm at with it. Like, and I'm not necessarily saying allow people to change how you love. I'm not saying that. But sometimes you got to switch up who you love. Sometimes it's okay for you to, differentiate who you love and who you give your time and your energy to. I ain't say switch up and I ain't say change. I ain't saying that by no means. But what I am saying is sometimes you got to be okay with allowing yourself to take your energy elsewhere. So my motto for 2025 is, if I'm not appreciated where I am, I'm taking my talents elsewhere where it's going to be celebrated out loud. I'm no longer allowing myself to be in spaces and in areas where I'm not being applauded or I'm not getting the same energy. I don't care who it is. I could care less. I don't care who it is. I don't care what it is. Okay? And I say all that to say this right here. I'm a real understanding person, and some of y'all are very understanding. Some of y'all do stuff for people that people don't even realize that's a lot. It takes a lot of energy, right? And I'm also one of those people where people don't realize it takes a lot of energy for me to do certain things. But what killed me is that people don't place themselves in your shoes enough. What kills me with people is they don't place themselves in your shoes enough. Because let me tell you something. If people place themselves in your shoes more often, a lot of people will see how hard you go when it comes down to you doing stuff for people and when it comes down to you loving people. I don't want nobody in my life that's gonna be selfish, to always see things one-sided. I don't want nobody in my life who always try to talk about how they, you know what I'm saying, they done went through so much, but they ain't never really put themselves in your shoes to see your perspective. Everything is always about them. Let me tell y'all something. I got one friend that's on ice with me right now. She on ice. Because one thing I had to understand was I got tired of her always saying, oh, well, I'm going through this. So you're basically telling me that when you're going through something, you can't be the person that I need you to be for me, because you're always so focused on you and your issues and what you have going on. But nobody don't ever think about when they picking up the phone and calling you about the stuff that you got going on. They just always want you to be there, right? I get tired of that. I get so tired of that. I get so tired of people picking up the phone, not knowing where I am in my life, but they still expect for me to be Superwoman. They still expect for me to give them 100%. I'm in that same space where when I'm going through what I'm going through, I'm not going to be able to answer the phone for you. When I'm going through what I'm going through, wherever I am in my life, I'm not gonna be able to be there for you. By no means necessary. Sorry. I got one friend. She's on ice. But let me tell you something. I'm in a space right now where I think before I do anything. Because I'm in a place where I get tired of being the strong one all the time. When you always the strong one and you always the one that's always giving, it gets tiring sometimes because nobody's ever there to give you that same energy. And when you get drained and tired, nobody ever sees that you need that energy back so you can be powered back up, right? Nobody ever see that. They always see you on 100, or they always see you at your best, because God don't ever put you in a place where your brokenness is on display. And that's what I be trying to tell folks. Like, being chosen is hard. It is. Being chosen is hard. Because folks don't see you when you're going through your brokenness. Folks don't see you when you're going through your breakdown, and when you having your anxiety attacks, and when you in your depression. You know what I'm saying? You're going through your suicidal thoughts, and folks don't see that. They just see you as a whole. And when they see you always put together, they don't think you go through anything. And I be trying to tell folks, stop being so insensitive all the time. Just because they look strong don't mean they are strong. We have our weak moments too as strong people. We have our weak moments where we want somebody to pour back into us too. I get sick of people trying to count where I am in my life. You can't never count where I am in my life, because God is not going to allow you to see when I'm at my lowest. And I be trying to tell folks that all the time. I have never been in a space where people can tell you out of their mouth that they didn't see me broken, or they didn't see me at my lowest, because God ain't never allowed it to be that. So a lot of folks don't ever think you go through nothing. People don't think you go through anything because they've never seen it, right? I be trying to tell folks all the time, sometimes you got to sit down and hear people and let them tell you for themselves how much they've gone through, and let them tell you for themselves how much they have, came across in their life, and how much they've overcame in order for you to truly believe where they've been. It sometimes by looking at people, you will never know the things that they've overcame in their life. You'll never really think the person that you sitting next to that probably went through, so many life and death situations, but they done made it out every situation, but they look good because they don't look like what they've been through. Sometimes it's okay for you to be in that space, for you to just hear and listen and allow things to, kind of put you in a space of, dang, what if I was in that situation? Or what if that was me? Like, people don't think about that enough. And that's why I'm kind of like, I'm in a space now where I'm cutting a lot of things off, and I'm cutting a lot of people out. A lot of people are getting cut out of my life. They are. Unfortunately, that's just how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to go. A lot of people are getting cut out because now I understand the importance of my mental sanity being on 100%. Okay? Sometimes we drive ourselves insane trying to allow people or get people to see us. I'm not doing that no more. That's too much work. When I was trying to get everybody to see me, when I was trying to get everybody to accept me, That was too much work for me because I was putting myself in overdrive constantly. And when I was drained, nobody there was there to fill me up again. Okay? We're no longer going to be waving our hand trying to get folks to see us. Baby, you either see me or you don't. But either way it goes, I'm still going to be who I need to be in order for me to get to the levels that I need to get to. All right? Sometimes it's okay for you to stop waving your hand. The teacher saw you. And if they don't want to call on you, they just don't want to call on you. Put your hand down. Some of us got to learn how to put our hand down. I'm learning how to put my hand down. I ain't putting my hand up in the sky and holding my hand there just so I can just be used. You know, because sometimes we volunteer to be used because our hand be in the sky for so long. We want people to see us so bad. We're allowing ourselves to be used. Sometimes if people don't ask you, don't offer. That's just the hard truth. If people don't ask you, then don't offer. Put your hand down. That's where I'm at in my life. When my hand was up too long, I realized that some folks they was just needing me just because I had my hand up. Because I was always offering them things that they wouldn't offer me. And when I was constantly in those situations, I had to stop putting myself in those situations because I was always driving myself insane, thinking something was wrong with me when I was in a time of need and I had nobody there for me. Like nobody came and helped me when I was in need. Nobody came and saved me when I needed to be saved. I'm no longer having my hand up in the air because now I understand the importance of what it means to not be used in order for you to get to where you need to be, in order for you to get the blessings that you desire. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I'm at in my life. Like I'm in a true space where I can talk to y'all and I can tell y'all that sometimes when you are the strongest one in your circle, it can be draining. When you are the strongest one in your family, it can be draining. When you are the chosen one, it can be draining because people don't understand. They'll never understand you. But sometimes you got to stop offering the explanation. Y'all chosen ones is in here. I'm talking to y'all. Stop offering the explanation. If they don't want to understand who you are, stop always being in spaces and places where you always got to open up the dictionary and fold it out for them each and every time. That gets draining. When I was in spaces where I had to tell people what chosenness was and I had to always go over and beyond to show them what it means to be favored, I used to always have to write it out for them. I got tired of that. I got tired of being in those spaces where I had to constantly write out things. You know how many times I had to write stuff out for people so I can show them who I was? Even when they didn't accept me wholeheartedly. You said, how did I realize I was an empath? I realized I was empathic when I picked up on a lot of emotions that was outside of what I was going through. When I was going through my seasons of trying to figure out who I was, and I was attaching myself to just anybody just because I was looking for the acceptance. When I realized I was empathic was I was picking up on their emotions and I was carrying mine at the same time. So that's how I knew that a lot of times when I was emotionally attached to stuff, I was emotionally learning those lessons at the same time, even though I wasn't physically in the realm of me dealing with those things. See, some of y'all don't understand. Being emotionally attached to stuff is just as hard as being physically attached to things. I just said this the other day to somebody because they didn't understand what I was saying. I was like, sometimes being an empath can be hard because when you're emotionally attached to things and people that's closest to you, you don't realize that you're also learning those lessons with them. You don't even realize that you're also learning those lessons with them. Some of y'all are empathic and you don't even realize why, or you don't even know how. Some of y'all are so powerful that when somebody else in your life is going through something, you're also going through it too. That's hard because you're dealing with those emotions and you're trying to figure out why you're so emotional because this somebody over here is going through something that they don't even want to be in, or situations that they don't even want to be in themselves. I be trying to tell folks that all the time. Like, do you not know how that feels when you feel the emotions of somebody that's attached to you? Even though you don't want to be a part of it, you got to be a part of it because you're empathic. and you go through stuff emotionally. And that's why I tell folks all the time, maturity comes from lessons. I don't care how old you are. Maturity comes from lessons. When you've been attached to other people's lessons, that's you learning indirectly. You're indirectly learning by being attached to folks who go through things, right? Some folks don't realize that, but that gets deep. When you seen your mama go through narcissistic abuse, when you seen your daddy, you know what I'm saying, be in those situations, or your grandma and your aunties and your uncles, and you were attached to each and every situation, you went through those same things because you were emotionally attached. A lot of folks don't like to admit it, but that's the truth. Some of y'all don't realize that emotional attachment will cause you to learn the lesson even when you didn't sign up for it. Sometimes it hurts more emotionally than it does physically. You want to know why? Because you got to deal with the emotions 2 times. You got to deal with the emotion of them, and you got to deal with the emotion of you. So sometimes you got to realize when you see somebody that's closest to you getting hurt, that's the feeling that you feel, right? But you also got to feel the emotions of them actually trying to get through it at the same time, because they're physically dealing with it too. But the attachment that you have to them, you don't even realize how powerful it is, because you have taken on the emotions of them. So now you got to deal with it twice. Now you got to deal with it twice. I be trying to tell folks all the time, every person that has been attached to you, okay, you have had to deal with those emotions twice. That's why some of us don't realize how far we have come and how many lessons that we have learned. You have had to deal with those emotions twice. When you seen your mama get physically abused or mentally abused, you had to deal with those emotions twice, because it made you feel some type of way as a child, as her child. It made you feel some type of way in that situation because there was nothing that you can do about it. You had to deal with those emotions, right? But it also was the attachment to her for being in that situation, and she couldn't get out of it. So you had to deal with those emotions of her as well. So that's just an example of what I mean when I say you got to deal with it twice. A lot of folks don't realize that. That's why you have a lot of kids, or a lot of children who resent their parents because they're in situations that they can't do or get out of by themselves. But that's a conversation for another day. I ain't gonna take y'all down that road, because a lot of folks be getting mad at me because I like to take them down the journey to actually see what things and how things unfold, because folks be getting mad. They be like, you can't say that. No, I can say that because I was in that situation. So I know exactly what that means. Like, it's a lot to deal with people's emotions. But when you have to deal with your emotions too, it's even worse. So I say all of that to say this right here. Get out of the space of always being that person for people who's not going to be the same person for you. If you don't have people in your life who's going to take on your emotions, and don't get me wrong, being an empath is not something that's given to everybody. You got to learn how to contain it. And you got to learn how to be in areas and spaces where you are appreciated for your empathic gift. Okay? Sometimes you got to really understand that when you're not being, celebrated because you're empathic, you're going to be used because you're empathic. Some folks know exactly who you are, but they just use you because they know that the attachment to them is what's going to get them to where they need to be, right? So I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I said, what's so crazy is that people don't understand that you don't always have to be in rooms where people don't applaud you. It's okay for you to be around folks who applaud you, who celebrate you, and who actually see you. And it doesn't take all of that to be accepted, and it don't take all of that to be properly loved. Okay, if you feel like you're doing too much, 9 times out of 10 you are. If you feel like you got to go over and beyond all the time to show people or get people to see you, sometimes you are doing too much when you feel like you are doing too much because those people aren't celebrating you enough. You can't be the only one in the room celebrating everybody else and their wins, and nobody is celebrating you. That's a problem. When I felt like I was in spaces or around folks who never celebrated me, That's how I knew I was doing too much. Because when it came time for me to celebrate everybody else, I was always the ones clapping my hands for everybody, but nobody was ever clapping their hands for me. I got tired of that. When you get tired of that, you'll realize that you go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. And when you learn how to understand that as an empathic person, as a chosen person, you'll realize that you go where you're celebrated and not where you're tolerated, because everybody is not going to accept who you are. A long time ago, I used to be this person where I always used to worry about everybody and their opinions about me. I used to always worry about people's opinions about me because I was always wanting to be accepted by everybody. I was always a people pleaser. But what I didn't realize was me being a people pleaser made me be versions of myself that I didn't need to be. Like, we all got a purpose over our life. So if I'm always molding myself to be a version of somebody that is going to satisfy somebody that's in my life, I'm constantly creating versions of myself that I'm going to eventually have to break in order for me to truly walk in my purpose. See, a lot of y'all don't understand that. If you're always so focused on being a people pleaser, just imagine how many versions of yourself is being birthed, because you are over here trying to become a version that's going to satisfy every person in your life. And every time you come around or get closer to your purpose, you ain't going to never get close, because you got to break those virgins that you have birthed to satisfy these people that don't belong in your life 9 times out of 10 in the first place, right? Some of y'all don't even realize that. When you talk about being in your purpose, it takes one version to be in your purpose. Just one. It don't take 5 or 6 versions. It don't take, it takes one version. That's it. That one version is going to get you everywhere and unlock every door that you need to unlock. But the more you sit around and try to please people in your life, the more and the longer it's going to take you to get to where you're going. When I realized that, I perfected this one version of who I needed to be. And that's when I truly started to walk in my purpose. See, some of y'all don't realize what I just said, because you're living in that truth now. You have created so many different versions of you to satisfy every family member, to satisfy every relationship, to satisfy every connection in your life. And you don't even realize that it only takes one version of you to actually walk in your purpose 100%. Just one. It don't take 5 or 6. It don't take 10. It takes one. And when you focus on perfecting that one version, that's when you're going to get to where you need to be. That's when you going to get to where you need to be. When I noticed that, I realized, and I woke up and I understood the assignment on what it was that God had over my life. Because see, 2 or 3, maybe 4 years ago, the person that I was all over the place, because I was so busy trying to be a people pleaser and trying to please everybody else. But nobody was pleasing me. So I was always the one that was lost. And I always had to find my way back on track all by myself. Nobody was there to help me. Nobody was there to guide me back on track. Nobody was there to do all of these things that I needed to do. But I had to do it on my own. And when I realized I was the only one that was working, and I realized I was the only one not getting paid. Because see, let me tell y'all something. The more love you pour, the more you need to get paid. See, some of y'all are working, but you're not getting paid. You're pouring the love, but you're not getting reciprocation. So sometimes you got to realize love is just like a payment. When you give love, you should also receive love. So sometimes when you got people in your life that borrow from you, you expect it to come back, right? But sometimes you got to realize when it's not. When you're not getting paid or getting reciprocated, or the energy of the love is not being reciprocated, that's when you got to realize that you're working for nothing. I had to realize at one point in my life I was working for nothing. I had folks in my life who just wanted to see me work. But they were seeing me work, but the whole time they was overworking me because they knew that I was going to do it. I was broken. Let me tell you how I was broken. As a young adult, in my early 20s, I was still broken from my childhood. So everything that I wanted was everything I didn't get as a child. So in my adulthood, I felt like I could, get all of those things back when really and truly I was going to the wrong people to get it. Because everything that made me feel safe, even though it was wrong, I ran towards that as an adult. And that's what caused me to be in these broken relationships. That's what caused me to be in these relationships with narcissistic men and having, these manipulation tactics always haunt me, because I was always in situations where I was running towards things that made me comfortable because that's how it made me feel as a child. But when you realize that when you finally heal from everything that you went through as a child, that's when you take the control back when it comes down to you being an adult. When you actually realize you control the narrative 100% when you become an adult, you'll realize that a lot of stuff in your past has haunted you all the way up until that point, until you got over it, because that's what made you feel safe and comfortable, because you never really healed from those things. When I realized that, I realized I had a lot of work to do. When I realized that a lot of stuff that I was going through was only haunting me because I never really healed from things that I should have healed from. I'm gonna get deep with y'all real quick. I'm gonna just have a transparent moment with y'all. I ain't always had a relationship with my father the way I do now. Me and my dad has gotten closer in the last 2 years. My dad ain't always been the man that he is now. Okay? But what I didn't realize was everything that I did not get from my father was everything that I felt safe in, right? So I started to run towards every old version of who my father was. And I was trapped in these relationships because I felt like that version of who my father was the most safest place that I needed to be as a woman. I'm going to get deep with y'all. But when my dad started to heal, that's when I started to heal. Because me and my dad have a relationship to where now it's starting to make sense, and now we both know that the things that we went through and the things that he took me through as a father wasn't correct. It wasn't right, right? So we have mended the relationship and we gotten better. So now I realize that sometimes the source of where your trauma comes from has to heal first in order for it to be healing to you, right? So now I understand the importance of what it means to have that relationship, but also have the healthy mindset of knowing that everything that I was running towards was everything that my father was, because I was unhealed. My mindset wasn't prepared. A lot of y'all women don't understand. We go through things mentally because we have not really allowed ourselves to really forgive and really heal at the same time. So everything that you're running towards, when you say you get tired of running towards the same thing or running into the same thing, sometimes you got to go back to the source and see if that source is healed first. Because if it's not, you got to learn how to heal it within yourself, and you got to learn how to create the narrative and shift the narrative on your own. Everything that I felt safe in doing when I was a kid, I had to realize I had to switch it up as an adult, as a grown woman. I had to change. Because I didn't realize that everything that I was running across was everything that my father was at one point. And that's what caused me to be in cycles and be in toxic relationships and have toxic connections with people. It didn't even have to be no relationships, situationships, whatever it was. I was always in a space where I was constantly trying to run towards everything that made my childhood trauma feel safe. And I was constantly in a limbo. I was constantly in cycles that I eventually had to break on my own. See, a lot of folks don't realize that it gets that deep. That inner child, it speaks loud. When you are in a space in your life where you are constantly doing the same thing over and over again, and it takes you back or it triggers your childhood trauma, you got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what's going on. Is something wrong there? And I'm not necessarily saying that it can't be fixed, but sometimes you got to learn how to break that spiritual warfare within yourself and learn how to be okay with defining it as spiritual warfare. See, because some of us don't ever really realize spiritual warfare come in every shape, form, and fashion. It's just up to you to identify it. And as soon as you identify it, that's when you break the cycle. Sometimes you got to learn how to be okay with that part right there, breaking the cycle before it breaks me. Because the places that I'm going, it's not going to be, I'm not going to be who I need to be because I'm always broken into pieces and I need to be whole in this new season of my life. Sometimes you got to realize, like, you got to be whole in these new seasons of your life. You can't go half, or you can't go, broken into pieces. No, you got to be whole. And if you're not whole, you're not going to stay there. I was in situations where I always got a little taste of the blessing, but I never really was able to accept it or have a plate full of the blessing because I was always broken. See, God gonna give you a little taste of it, but you're gonna have to do some work so you can be whole and enjoy the full blessing. See, I was in spaces where I didn't realize that, but then I realized that I had some work to do. I had some inner work to do. I had to work on me. I had to do some work. I had to sit with myself and realize who I was. I had to figure out what was going on because it was a lot of inner work and inner healing that I had to do. You'll eventually get tired of just tasting the blessing. See, some of y'all just tasting it right now. You ain't really got a plate full of it yet because you still got some work to do. But he done gave you a little taste of it. How many of y'all done been frustrated or you done been in situations where God gave you a little taste? He gave you a taste of what it was like, but he ain't never really gave you the full course meal because you're not ready yet. When I got into spaces where I got tired of getting a little taste, and I wanted the full course meal, it's some stuff I had to do. I had to get my plate ready. I had to get my plate ready in order for it to hold the full course meal. You can't eat no full course meal out of your hand, right? You got to have a plate. In order for you to do that, you got to be willing to do the work. So now I'm in a space where I'm working because now I understand the importance of what it means to be whole and not broken. I was broken, but now I'm whole because of the work that I have put in. And eventually it's going to come to you. Eventually you're going to learn to understand that everything is not going to be perfect and everything is not going to happen overnight. And when you finally get to that space where patience overtake you, you will understand that patience is everything. Because somebody said something to me that has stuck with me. And I'm going to say it to y'all. Sometimes you have to give time. So what that means is sometimes even though it takes time, you got to be patient with time because you never know how long it's going to take you to get to where you're going. When somebody said that to me, I was like, dang, I never really thought about that. You got to give time because you never know how long it's going to take you to get to where you're going. You got to be patient in every aspect of your life. We want things to happen fast. See, we done got so used to Amazon Prime and getting stuff in 2 days. We feel like that's how long or that's how fast our blessings should come. Sometimes it's okay for things to take its time to get to you. Because everything ain't got to be a rush, right? So now I'm in a space where I'm learning that everything ain't got to be a rush. Because I got to give time. I got to be patient with time. Because even the time that I have on my clock might not be accurate when it comes down to the blessings that's coming my way. Sometimes we want things. And let me tell y'all something. I was so intentional about 2025. For the first year ever, I did not do a vision board. I've done a vision board for as far as I can remember, but I never did one this year because I was like, you know what? God, whatever you gonna do it on your time And the vision that I might have for myself might not be nothing compared to what you got for me in 2025. I can't even put a cap on what God is about to get ready to do. I don't know what He gonna do. It might be something bigger than what I put on my vision board. I don't know. But whatever you do, I know that it's gonna be big and it's gonna be outside of my imagination of what I want for myself. Amen. I be trying to tell y'all, sometimes you gotta stop putting a cap on God. We be trying to put a cap on God all the time because we want stuff for ourselves. But let me tell you something. What you want for yourself might be outside of what He wants for you within this moment or within this season. I'm telling you. I had to tell somebody that the other day. It was like, I just don't understand. You can't manifest. No, you can manifest whatever you want. Manifest it. But the specific things that we want might be small compared to what God got for us. I be trying to tell folks all the time, like, I might want something for me, but God might not want that for me. I don't know what He wants for me. I might want a new car, but I can't specifically say what car I want because he might put me in a Rolls Royce and I say I want a Honda. And I ain't saying nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying sometimes you got to stop putting a cap on what God can do for you or what He's going to do for you, because sometimes you're placing yourself in this confinement when what God got for you is big. Okay? I be trying to tell folks all the time, like, I'm in a space where listen, it ain't no limit on this next season or this next chapter of my life, because where I'm going, I don't know where God about to get ready to take me. I don't know what rooms He about to get ready to put me in, but all I know is my name is going to be in the rooms that He placed me in this season, because now I understand what it means to walk in the rooms that your name has entered before you got there. Come on now. Come on now. This what I be trying to tell people all the time. This next chapter of your life is going to be so intentional. You're not even going to realize you've been had the keys in your hand. You never even realize that you've been walking around with a set of keys. You just didn't know what doors they went to. Sometimes it's okay for you to be shocked sometimes to see what God is going to do for you. Sometimes it's okay for you to be in spaces and places sometimes where you don't know what's going to happen. You just going to let it work in your favor. That's it. Now, when I get prepared to do things, I just say, God, whatever you're going to do, allow it to work in my favor. Whatever room I walk in, God, use me. Give me the knowledge that I need. Because some folks begin to twist it and thinking that their paperwork got them in the room. No, your favor got you in the room. Your favor got you in the room. Your resume didn't get you there. Your favor got you in that room. I be trying to tell folks all the time, my resume ain't got nothing on the what God resume look like for me. My piece of paper, my favor, then got me in a lot of rooms that I wasn't supposed to be in. Like, according to other people, some folks say you underqualified, but you really qualified. Because God placed you in those spaces, right? I be trying to tell folks, don't underestimate God. Because I done been in so many situations where I felt like I was underqualified. But God qualified me to have a seat at that table. That's favor. Favor ain't fair. And I be trying to tell folks all the time, I laugh about it because I done been in situations where I done looked around everybody else and I should have been intimidated. But the fact that I was sitting there lets me know that my favor placed me there and you were there for a reason. Same way with some of y'all that's on this live. You didn't looked around a lot of rooms. And a lot of times you could have easily been intimidated. Because some people might be, the appearance wise might be, a little more leveled within you, or they might be, a little bit more sedity, might be, but you were placed there for a reason. So when I tell folks that, they be like, you don't never feel out of place. No, I don't. I don't feel out of place. You want to know why? Because I'm where I'm supposed to be. I don't never get intimidated by nothing or nobody. Because let me tell you something, intimidation turns into jealousy and envy. I don't ever want to be in that situation ever. Let me tell y'all something. Intimidation turns into jealousy and envy. When you're in situations where you're always intimidated by certain things and certain people, that eventually going to turn into jealousy. You want to know why? Because you're going to be trying to figure out why them and not me. Don't worry about them over here. Don't worry about what they got going on over here. Worry about you and stay in your lane, and I guarantee you're going to get everything that you deserve and everything that you desire. When you continue to focus on you and you continue to do the things that you need to do for you, you're going to get everything that you deserve and everything you desire. Don't worry about what's going on over here in this lane, and don't worry about what's going on over here in this lane. Just stay in your lane and mind your business. Just stay in your lane and mind your business. And when you understand that, you'll understand that a lot of stuff that you deserve and a lot of things that you require in life is going to start to flow to you so easily and so fluently and so quickly. You'll start to realize that that's the only thing you've been needing to do anyway. When I started to drink my water and mind my business, I started to get a lot of more blessings, believe it or not. When I stopped worrying about what they had going on, when I stopped worrying about their opinion, or when I stopped worrying about, how other people feel, and I worried about me, and I started to focus on me, that's when I got blessed even more. Because now I understand what it means to stay in my lane and mind my business. 2025, we're staying in our lane and minding our business. In 2025, we're staying in our lane and minding our business. And that's how you're going to get to where you need to be. When folks ask me, how did you start to walk in your purpose? Staying in my lane and minding my business. My purpose couldn't find me if I was all the way over here and all the way over there. When I started to walk a straight line and focus on me and make myself a priority, that's when I started walking my purpose. That's when my purpose came and found me, because I was standing in one spot doing what I needed to do to focus on me and perfect me. Sometimes you got to realize that when you all over the place and you can't really figure out what you got going on and you can't really find your purpose, it's because you in too many spaces at one time, or you in too many places at one time. I need for you to focus, stay in one spot, and focus on you, and let your purpose come and find you. Some of y'all be asking me all the time, how do I find my purpose? Stay in one spot. Be still. Be still. We don't ever give ourselves time to think. When you got so much going on and you're being pulled in every which direction instead of one direction, which is the direction that needs to be, between you and yourself, and you're actually walking a thin line or a straight line, and you're actually focusing on perfecting you, that's when you're going to find your purpose, because now you're doing the inner work. Your purpose is within you, okay? And when you're doing the inner work, that's when your purpose is going to come find you, because now you are in one space, in one place, perfecting that one thing. You can't do all of that. You can't be all in one. You're not an octopus. I tell folks that all the time. You can only do one thing at a time. The reason that you can't focus is because you got all these different things going on at one time, and now you can't focus on the things that's important. I'm just saying. You can't focus on the things that's important because you all over the place. And I need for you to stop always doing too much at one time. I told somebody this the other day. A lot of people don't realize this, and I'm going to tell y'all this. And I'm going to get deep with y'all because a lot of y'all might not understand, right? I had a client, and to this day, me and her laugh about this. And she might be in here. I don't know where she is, but she said, Akira, I'm working 4 jobs right now. I'm getting to the bread. I'm getting to the paper. I said, that's what's up. I said, I'm glad to see that you got a hustling spirit. I said, but when do you enjoy that? You working so hard that you don't even realize that you working hard for nothing. When you realize that you work hard for nothing, you wouldn't be working all these jobs. And so she was like, no, you can't say that because my bank account is sitting nice. Yeah, it is. It might be. But let me tell you why you're doing too much when you don't have to. Because all of those jobs that you're working, you're taking from one job to go to the next. You're taking from something. Instead of focusing on one and pouring into one, you're taking away from something. So every job that you're doing, you're taking away from something. You can't really be your full potential when you're all over the place. You feel what I'm saying? Same thing with your life. If you're doing more than one thing at one time, you're taking from something that you can really give your full potential to really perfect it and master it. Okay? So when I broke it down to her like this, she said, you know what, you're right. Because this one job really pays me enough. All I got to do is work overtime. I said, exactly. So you working 4 jobs when you really need to be working one. And making sure that you're in alignment with this one thing and mastering that one thing in that one job. And once you master that, now you can go somewhere else. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to realize, like, when you're taking all of your energy from these things or these areas of your life, you're causing yourself to go into overdrive when you don't have to. That's how some of y'all do y'all life. You're causing yourself to go into overdrive when you don't have to. You working hard for no reason. You working hard for no reason. You going all over the world for no reason. When everything that you require and everything that you need is right here in front of you. All you got to do is just give it a little bit more time. See, when we get impatient and we be so quick to try to hurry up and fulfill our goals, we don't even realize that that's the same way it is in life. Like, you working so hard, you don't even realize that you working hard for nothing. One of my mottos for 2025 is working less, getting more. Working less, getting paid more. That's the goal in 2025. If I ain't got to work too hard, if I ain't got to do too much, baby, that's the goal in 2025. Working less, getting paid more. Hallelujah. Yeah. That's my goal. You want to know why? Because I'm no longer looking for validation in the things in the things that I do. You feel what I'm saying? I done did that already. We looked for validation when we were going through what we was going through. I'm not looking for the validation no more. Now I want to get paid what I'm worth. Working less and getting paid more. Get paid what you're worth. Get paid what you're worth. When you realize that, you'll realize that a lot of stuff in your life gonna have to go. A lot of things that require your attention. And you got to do too much to keep the attention. It got to go. It got to go. Yeah. My mindset different now. Baby, we in a whole new season. Now my mindset different because now I understand the importance of what it means to work less, get paid more. Because my value goes up. Every time you go through something, your value goes up. Every time you deal with trauma, your value goes up. A lot of y'all don't like to realize that, but that's the truth. When you deal with things and you go through the fire and you don't come out smelling burnt, your value goes up. Some of y'all don't look like what you've been through. Your value has gone up. Some of y'all don't realize that, but that's the truth. Your value has gone up. You still look good, regardless of what you've been through. Your value has went up. Sometimes that's what it takes. You got to understand, I done been through enough. I ain't got to go through the same stuff I done went through before. I don't have to keep on dealing with the same stuff that I used to deal with no more. Now you got to pay the price. And if you can't pay the price, then baby, I'll holler at you. I'm no longer cutting my price to fit people in my life. Let me say that again. I'm no longer cutting my price to fit people in my life. See, you either gonna pay this price or we just gonna holler at you. We gonna catch you on the other side. But listen, until then, I'll holler at you. Everybody can't go with you. Everybody can't go with you. And one thing somebody told me, they said, you know what? If people wanted to go with you so bad, their prayer would be, God, allow me to meet her there, or allow me to meet him there. If they wanted to go with you so bad, their prayer to God would be, God, allow me to meet them there. I know I can't go with them right now, but let me at least meet them there. Because I want this person, or I want them to be in my life. But right now, a lot of times people don't really realize that you ain't always got to go on the same journey in order for you to meet somebody at the final destination. See, some folks don't understand that. That's just the truth. You ain't always got to be on the same journey as me. I don't know where you going to end up. But your prayer need to be in the right place. Because see, if you want to go with me, you got to tell God to allow you to meet me there. You feel what I'm saying? I'm in that space now where I understand everybody can't go with me. But if your prayer not right, you're not going to meet me in my final destination. Come on now. Some of y'all got to realize that's just the truth. If they are in full alignment with your Father, or if they're in full alignment with Jesus Christ, their prayer is going to be, allow me to meet them there. Sometimes you got to realize, like, it gets deep like that. I'm in a space where I'm only accepting people who's on the same vibration as me. Because I know some folks not going to be on my journey with me all the time, 24/7. I'm going to have to drop some people off because my car going to eventually get full. And guess what? I'm going to have to make it over that mountain. And I don't need nobody to weigh down my car from getting over that mountain. Where I'm going, listen, meet me there. That's all. Just meet me there. I be trying to tell folks all the time. If you don't see them with me no more, don't ask them about me. People be killing me. What's such and such at? I don't know. Don't ask them where they. Don't ask me where they at. If you don't see me with them, or you don't see them with me, don't ask. No questions. I don't know. I ain't gonna be able to tell you. I don't know where they at. You gonna have to find out for yourself. Go look on Facebook. I don't know. I be trying to tell folks all the time, like sometimes you got to really accept the fact that some folks just break apart and they just, go on their own journey. Everybody's journey is different, and that's okay. Listen, I don't wish bad on nobody, but the places that I'm going, I just say that they just couldn't go with me. I had a friendship that I was so caught up in, and this one particular friendship had kind of ruined me because this girl was like, me and her was like this, right? And what I didn't realize was this young lady that me and her was like this. We actually had another homegirl that passed away. Rest in peace to her. And we all three was tight. And this other young lady, she decided to, get her life right and, dedicate her life to Jesus. And, I'm all for that. But don't make nobody feel less than because of the journey that you take. And you want people to follow suit with you. And everybody is not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what you see on them or what you see in them, you can't make everybody else live up to their full potential if they're not ready in that moment. You feel what I'm saying? But don't look down upon nobody because of what you decide to do. Sometimes it's okay for you to walk away from people in silence, and you just take your journey, and you just, do what you got to do for you. You feel what I'm saying? But I realized, she didn't even have to walk away from me. I felt like it was something mutual, because I think we walked away from each other because I felt like I was in a space where I was being judged all the time because I wasn't there yet. A lot of times you might hear people tell you that you're chosen. You might hear people tell you that you got favor over your life, or you might hear people say that you're anointed. But sometimes it takes for you to take your own journey in order for you to walk in that anointedness and that, that favor that you have over your life. You see, everybody can tell you that, but sometimes you got to go through some things in order for you to get to that place where you're living in it 100%. And a lot of folks don't understand that. Like, Everybody not going to walk 100% in their anointedness just because they say, or they hear people say, you're anointed. It takes people to go through things. Everybody got their own journey. Everybody not going to, what I'm saying, just jump to that conclusion just because everybody tell them that one thing. You feel what I'm saying? She used to tell me all the time, you're anointed, you're this, you're that. Eventually I got to that space where now, I'm walking in at 100%, but it took me some time. And, I can't get mad for people for not being patient enough. And sometimes you got to realize that everybody's not going to be patient when you're actually going through trying to find your way. And you got to be okay with that. You got to be okay with folks walking away. And you got to be okay with the simple fact everybody not going to accept you when you're not at your full potential. Okay? Some of us get upset, but the truth of the matter is you gotta learn how to be okay with those things. Because even though you want people to accept you, everybody not going to accept you. Everybody not going to, still wait by your side or walk by your side when you're not where you need to be. That's why I tell folks all the time, don't jump on the bandwagon baby, listen. When it's all said and done and the train leaves the station, don't think that we making U-turns to come back and pick you up. Because see, you either going to be here from day one or you ain't. I'm not making no U-turns and I'm not coming back to pick you up. Oh, no. Because see, when the train was at the station and it was stopped, you had time to get on here. And you didn't want to get on here then, so don't try to get on here now. Hello, somebody. I be trying to tell folks that all the time. Like, don't be thinking we gonna make U-turns and make what they call it? We're gonna make detours to come back and get you. No. Listen. Once this train get to going, we not making no stops. We gone. That's the same way you gotta think. Once this train leaves the station, we not turning around and coming back. No, we ain't gonna be able to do it. I be trying to tell folks all the time, when you see me on TV, don't come back. Don't think, listen, when you see me on TV, don't try to inbox me and say, hey, how you doing? Because you won't get no reply. I don't be having time for people, because let me tell you something. When people realize they lose a good thing or they lose a good person in their life, they try to come back and double back. Baby, listen, it's too late. It's too late. You can't come back. Go ahead. Stay where you was at. You know what I'm saying? I be trying to tell folks all the time. Listen. Stop allowing folks to show you in your face that you're a second option. Okay? Because when folks try to double back on you, that's them showing you that they couldn't choose you the first time, but they want to choose you the second time. I'm sorry. You can't come back over here. Some of us be allowing folks to show us time and time again that we they second option. Let me tell you something. And this might ruffle a couple fellas in here, but y'all know I don't care. I had one young lady come and talk to me. And don't get me wrong. Marriage is not everything. But I ain't about to sit up here and be in a relationship with you for 16 years and we ain't married. No. Don't get me wrong now. It ain't everything. But I ain't about to sit up here and wait on you to show me that I'm not enough for you. Now, so you married me 16 years later. You can marry me 16 years before. I'm just saying. Every time I get in those situations and I tell it how it is, people be like, no, you can't say that. No, I can say that. Because if they knew they was going to marry you 16 years later, why they couldn't marry you 16 years before? I'm just saying now. I'm just saying. Folks be telling me I be wrong when I be saying my little point of view. I I just be talking. I just be, I be trying to put two and two together. You know what I'm saying? I be trying to put two and two together because, sometimes people don't realize that, you might not be the same person, but they knew who you was from day one. They knew exactly who you was from day one. And when you allow people to show you, when you allow them to show you that you're a second option, they're going to continue to treat you like a second option. That's it. Ladies, like I always say, fellas, this might not pertain to y'all, but I'm going to tell my ladies that's in this room, okay? If a man is chasing you, don't ever let him catch you. Don't let that go over your head, okay? If a man is chasing you, don't ever let him catch you. Yeah. If I need to say it again. If a man is chasing you, don't never let him catch you. Why you say that, Akira? Because usually men that love to chase, they'll always fall in love with the chase before they fall in love with you. Huh? Am I wrong? Y'all know I ain't wrong. Y'all know what I just said made a whole bunch of sense. Just saying. Fellas, now, I'm going to say this for the fellas in the room. If you always got to pay to get in there, don't go in the room where you always got to pay. All right? Some of y'all gotta understand your worth too. See, I don't be just talking to the women. I be talking to the men too. If you always gotta pay to get in the room, sometimes you gotta stop going in those rooms where you always gotta pay. And what that mean is stop always feeling like your value is in your pocket. All right? Stop always feeling like your value is in your pocket. Because you worth enough to not always have to pay. All right? I be trying to tell folks that all the time. Like, I got a couple male clients that come and talk to me. They be like, I be feeling worthless without my money. That's because you be allowing folks to make you feel like you worthless without your money. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to realize, like, when you always got to go into places or you always in spaces where your money is the value or the face value of who you are, that just means you're doing something wrong. That means you were around the wrong crowds. That means you got to stop placing yourself in those positions. I stopped placing myself in those positions because now I understand that my money is not my face value. So if I walk in a room, of course I'm going to look the part, but I don't always want that to be the first thing that people go to. Because now people going to be digging in my pockets or trying to count my money. I don't be having time for that. I'm sorry. I'm in a situation right now where I'm dealing with that one thing. But that one thing and that one situation is my fault. Because I always allowed my face value to be my pockets. And that's why I was used in this certain situation. That's real talk. Women go through it too. Men go through it all the time. But you got to stop allowing yourself to be in spaces where people count your pockets based on the face value of your money. Like, you got to stop placing yourself in those positions. Some of us get so tired of people, we always say, I get so tired of people counting my money or counting my pockets. Stop putting yourself in those positions and they won't. I don't be around folks who always talk about as soon as they say pay big money, I go the other way. Cause who? What are you talking about? I don't got no money. It's just sometimes folks just tell you how they feel. You just gotta pay attention. When folks be like, hey, big money, I go the other way. Oh, and don't let no man say that to me. Oh, baby, listen. I'm telling you, I teleport out the room. Listen, they might blink and I might be gone. No, I ain't gonna be able to help you. Let me tell you something. Real quick, I went on a date. No lie. Soon as I sat down at the table, and he asked me what I wanted to drink, and I said, I want a little cocktail, a little French 75. That's what I want. Just give me one of them. And he was like, oh. He was like, people with big money drink those. Let me tell you something. The joker went to the bathroom. He came back. I promise I wasn't there. Because what? How does a drink define what a person... I mean, what? Y'all, when I tell y'all I got up from that table so quick, so fast, I'm telling you, as soon as he went to the bathroom, I was gone. That French 75 was probably sitting right there on the table when I was gone. I was no longer there. And he was blocked, so I don't know if he tried to call, but I just don't... sometimes you got to realize that, like, it just, when you get to a certain caliber, you don't want people to always, I ain't gonna say you don't always want people to notice your caliber, because people gonna notice it anyway by the way that you carry yourself. But it's go for men and women. You don't want people to always put it in the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Like when I reached a certain caliber and I know, who I was as a woman, and I also knew that the way that I carried myself would also be noticed all the time. I don't want people to blurt it out loud all the time, because why are you doing all that extra stuff? You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to realize, like, when you reach a certain place or you reach a certain area of your life, you don't want people to always think that that's all you're about. I'm not all about that. Like, I come with a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? I come with a lot of love. I come with a lot of, genuineness. I come with a lot. I don't just come with the monetary value. I come with a lot of favor. I come with a lot of, a lot of great values. I just be trying to tell folks all the time, don't just see people for what you want to see them as. Just see them for who they really are. Now I'm in a space of understanding that, like, I'm in a space of understanding, like, I want people to accept me for who I am, not for what I bring to the table. That's it. When you reach a certain caliber, you already know, like, it's harder for you to have genuine people around you. And some of y'all in this room know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, when you reach a certain level of your life, you just want genuineness. You don't want nobody around you that's going to use you. You don't want nobody around you that's going to count your pockets. You don't want nobody around you that's going to put you in positions where you always got to dish out more money than they, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you just want nothing but genuineness around you. And sometimes it's harder the more you climb the ladder. And the higher you get in caliber, let me tell you something. You got to be careful with who you have in your circle. I'm learning that myself. As I reach certain calibers, it's a lot of stuff that I can't do, and it's a lot of people that I can't be around. It's dangerous. You feel what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you got to realize that the higher you go, the more you got to drop. The higher you go, the more you got to pay attention. The higher you go, the less you got to accept. That's it. I'm in that space where as I'm climbing the ladder, I'm like zero tolerance. People say I'm mean, but no, it's not that you're being mean. It's you being protective of your assets. Now you understand what it means. And I'm not just talking about material things, but I'm talking about assets when it comes down to your journey and the things you've gone through and your sanity and all that different type of stuff. Those are the assets that I'm talking about. Because let me tell you something. Your mindset is an asset. Let me say that again. Your mindset is an asset. So as you climb ladders and you get more knowledge and you start to learn more lessons and your mindset start to change, that's also an asset. It ain't just about the money. It's about the mindset too. Because if you're able to teach and if you're able to talk to people and you're able to break down certain things and you're able to pour into people, that's an asset. Mentally, you're an asset, not a liability. So, I say all that to say this. Be careful as you go to new places and new spaces of your life, because where you're going, it's going to be a big deal, but you also got to be protective of this new chapter of your life. All right? Each and every one of y'all that's in this room, be protective of this new chapter of your life, because the places that you're going, you got to be more attentive. That's it. That's all. That's all I got for y'all today. If you ain't learned none today, I dropped a couple gems. I don't know if y'all caught them. But like I said, listen. These are my last couple lives here on TikTok. I'm taking my talents elsewhere because TikTok has shadow banned me for way too long. I think I've been shadow banned for quite some time now. And it's kind of like I'm uploading my content for no reason. So go to Instagram, go to my YouTube. Once I hit 1,500 on YouTube, I'm going to go live on YouTube. So I think we're like 600 more subscribers shy of that. And I know we can do that by the end of 2025. So my Instagram, I've been uploading content on there. So if you want to see my content, if you want to just have that intimate connection with me, I feel like Instagram is more intimate anyway. Go to my Instagram, my Facebook group. If you want to be a part of the Facebook group, please go to the Facebook group, hit the link in my bio, and my Facebook group is open to everybody. If you would like to be a part of the Facebook group, make sure you go over there because I will be active on there as well. All right. So I love y'all. If it's your first time here, I really appreciate you. If you have been in my lives before, like I always say, thank you. I love each and every one of y'all, and I hope each and every one of y'all have a great week. I don't know what all of my social media handles are the same. So if you go over there and you go to my TikTok and you go to my bio, all of my TikTok, not all of my TikTok, but all of my social medias are right in that bio. My YouTube, my Instagram, and my TikTok is I am Akira Rajane. Also on Facebook, I am Akira Rajane. It's just one long word, no spaces, no none of that. Just type it in together and you'll find me. I'll pop right up. All right. So listen, let's have a great week. Let's have a better week than we did last week. And always remember, put your best foot forward. And if ain't nobody told you that they loved you this week, I love you. All right. See y'all later on. Bye.